The Court of Appeals has actually overturned Sidney Powell's conviction. Before I jump in as to how that happened, I'm going to give you a quick recap. Sidney Powell was convicted in 2023 of unaliving her mother. Now, in the trial, they broke down the fact that Sidney was a freshman at Mount Union, which is about an hour away from her home. And she really struggled with her freshman year. She was put on academic probation, and finally, she was evicted from the university. Now, the thing is this. She didn't tell anyone, none of her friends, her sorority, her parents, nothing. And it got to the point where the university was like, you got to move out. You got to go. We need this dorm. Her parents started noticing that she was often at the house. And when they would ask, she would be like, oh, no, my class was canceled for today. Finally, one day, her dad looked at her location and saw that she was there. So he went to the house. She broke down and told them what she was, struggling with, and that she had been put on academic probation. And that she was like, I'm so sorry. And the dad was really calm about it and just said, look, it's okay. Take a break. We'll figure it out. He called his wife, who at the time was considered her best friend. They were extremely close. She leaves her job to immediately go to the house to talk to her daughter. However, on the way there, she decides to call the university to really get all of the details of what transpired. Keep in mind, she told her parents that she was on academic probation, not that she had actually been evicted. She leaves a voicemail, and when she's at the house and Sidney's telling her everything she's dealing with, the school calls. She answers the phone, and while the school is trying to explain to her that Sidney is in fact not on academic probation, she's actually been evicted, they hear a thud. The call drops. They call back, and someone answers and acts like they're Sidney's mom. They immediately recognized her voice because there were multiple people in the room, and they had spoken to Sidney before, so they were like, Sidney, we know it's you. Where's your mom? She hangs up the call. They were so worried that they call the police and say, look, we're an hour away, but we need to have you guys go to this home and do a wellness check. The police does that. However, there is a detective that is friends with her dad. So he calls the dad and he's like, hey, what's going on at your house? We've got police on their way there. He freaks out, calls his daughter. His daughter's like, Dad, nothing happened. Everything is okay. He's like, what do you mean? The police are on their way. They called me. She tells him, well, someone broke in and mom is hurt. And she said, to get out of the room. And I don't know what's going on. Police arrive and she's telling them, look, someone entered the house. I don't know what happened. She told me to hide in the room. Look, the window is broken. Finally, the police piece everything together. And in fact, she had attacked her mom, I believe with a frying pan, and had her with a knife. In the court, the prosecution stated she was trying to keep up a facade, and unfortunately, that facade was now gone. And that, she unalived her mom. It was not premeditated, however, that she did it. And not only did she do it, she tried to cover it up and blame someone else. The defense is stated in the trial that she needed mental help, that she was schizophrenic, and that they knew now that she was schizophrenic because she's on medication that would only work if you're schizophrenic. Otherwise, you would essentially be in limbo. Jury found her guilty regardless. Okay. Now, where are we at on this appeal and why did they appeal it? According to her defense attorney, the reason this transpired is because the courts did not allow the defense's team to rebuttal the star witness of the prosecution. The star witness of the prosecution was a doctor who did not meet with Sidney at all. I'm sorry, he did meet with her 2 hours and did 0 tests on Sidney. According to the defense, they had 3 different doctors that spent over 30 hours with Sidney. They had 50 years of experience combined between the 3 of them, and they did over 25 diagnostic tests to prove that she, in fact, was schizophrenic and that she needed help. Now, because they were not able to bring a doctor back to rebut that star witness, the court overturned the conviction. The defense team also stated that he's already, trying to reach out to the prosecutor because it's not like she's going to be released. Right now, this is going to go back to the courts. And the prosecution has the option of appealing this overturn or just trying it all over again. The defense attorney stated that there is a new prosecutor that has been elected. He is reaching out to him to see if they can resolve something. When they're talking about resolving something, they're referring to the fact that her dad, which is the victim's husband, and her grandmother, which is the victim's mother, none of them wanted this to go to trial. They begged the state to please not prosecute for murder, to please offer a plea deal, that they knew that the daughter now needed her help and that otherwise she would never have unalived her mom, which was her best friend, and that she's finally on the meds. She's finally doing well. Convicting her of murder would just make things 10 times worse. Because essentially, according to him, she can't get the help that I will keep you guys updated. They haven't, updated us on if the prosecution has, in fact, at all even appealed it, or are they going back to the trial? Right now, they've just communicated with the family that this conviction has been overturned and they're going to work directly to the state. And I will keep you guys updated. Please follow, subscribe for more. Also, if you want to look at the playlist, it is available to you where I really break down all